You know, thousands of royal fans this morning are going to be Googling Amelia Wickstead jumpers. You know, that's the power that Catherine has, that she gives so much back to the British fashion economy, which has in turn elevated her on the world stage with the platform that she has. The jacket that she wore, interestingly, she's only worn that once before. Do you know what it was?
No, what was it?
It was for...
Hello and welcome to GBN Royal. I am Cameron Walker, GB News' royal correspondent, and I'm delighted to be joined by Deputy Royal Editor of gbnews.com, Reddin. I mean, this is the first time we've done kind of a video together, so that's the first. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. We've got lots to talk about today, lots of fashion news, and to be honest, Dot, you are very much the fashion expert when it comes to the royal family. I certainly don't know what different clothes means and what the subtle nuances are of what each member of the royal family wears. But let's get stuck into it because, of course, we saw a very casual look from the Princess of Wales overnight. Her hiking in the Lake Districts as part of her little engagement, secret engagement with the Scouts. She's, of course, joint president of Scouts. But a very casual outfit, wasn't it?
It was a casual outfit. I think we also have to remember she was hiking in the Lake District with the Chief Scout, Dwayne Field. So this was a more subtle, a more everyday engagement. This wasn't a red carpet appearance. So we didn't expect a tiara and a ball gown. But I did still think she looked absolutely fabulous. She mixed the high end with the more high street affordable pieces as well. Most of the pieces in her outfit were repeat wears. Her hat, for example, she was first seen wearing that in 2013. So a lot of these pieces are over a decade old. But then she also had a brand new jumper from Amelia Wickstead. If royal fans want to buy it, it will set you back £610. If you've got that, if you've got the money lying around, go for it. But yeah, I thought she looked absolutely fabulous. But it was, yes, like you said, it was a more understated, low-key engagement.
Yeah, I mean, I would have been surprised if she turned up in that beautiful gold ball gown that she wore for the James Bond premiere at the Royal Albert Hall a few years ago. So yeah, you're right, it was very casual. I really liked the newsboy cap that she was wearing. As you said, she wore it, a few years ago. But yeah, she just kind of suits that country girl, kind of posh country girl look, doesn't she?
Yeah, I think she is from the Berkshire countryside. That's where she grew up. So I think it does just suit her down to a T. The first time she wore it actually was at a volunteer training session with the Scouts back in 2013. So I think it's a full circle moment for the hat that now she's doing this. Yeah, she does suit it. I saw a couple of headlines saying she was channeling Peaky Blinders and things like that. I think it was more, it just suited the type of engagement where she was at, and it suited a function. But it was also intentional because it was a British brand. It's from the brand Really Wild Clothing. Interesting name, but yeah, that's what it's called. And I just thought she looked amazing.
And we know whatever the Princess of Wales wears, it tends to sell out, or it tends to really help those brands, especially the British brands, sell their products.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. Most of the pieces that she wore in the outfit are from British brands. The only piece that wasn't from a British brand was her trousers. They were actually from a Dutch brand called G-Star, but everything else was a British brand. And I think I mentioned the jumper earlier that she wore. That was the only new piece of clothing that she wore. Thousands of royal fans this morning are going to be Googling Amelia Wickstead jumpers. That's the power that Catherine has, that she gives so much back to the British fashion economy, which has in turn elevated her on the world stage with the platform that she has. So I just thought it was a really, really smart move. It was an understated look, but I think it was all intentional at the same time. And Catherine's really good at that. I don't think we've seen many people be able to achieve that quite as well as she does. So I was really impressed by the look.
Yeah, I think she certainly got that star power, doesn't she, to promote brands. However, I do have a slight question about what she was or wasn't wearing, actually, because she is joint president of Scouts. She was helping a couple of Scout groups in the Lake District get their nature badge. All the adults were wearing Scout uniform, but she wasn't. And of course, she has been known to wear a Scout uniform in the past, or at least one of those neckerchief things, because she helped renovate a Scout hut as part of the volunteering scheme for the coronation in May 2023.
Mm-hmm. I mean, of course, we don't know exactly why Catherine chose not to wear it. I was surprised as well as you, but I think she did something quite powerful by reclaiming a lot of pieces. So the cap I mentioned, she first wore that with the volunteer training scouts back in 2013. The jacket that she wore, interestingly, she's only worn that once before. Do you know what it was?
No, what was it?
It was for the 2024 Mother's Day photograph, the really controversial picture. I know.
No. Oh, I didn't notice that. Okay.
No one's ever worn that jacket before. So I think there was a subtle power messaging of she's reclaiming this piece of clothing from quite an awful period in her life where, you know, she was trolled on social media and was forced to apologize for editing it and all that nonsense. Like, I think this was Catherine reclaiming a lot of pieces of clothing. So yes, I know what you mean. I was slightly surprised that she didn't go down the route of wearing the Scouts uniform. We know she has it in the past. Who knows? This may have been a very last minute engagement. Maybe she didn't have time. I don't know. I don't know what the situation is like, but I was still quite impressed with what she wore.
Yeah, of course. And I suppose it's another full circle moment because, of course, you say she wore the jacket for that Mother's Day photograph where she did have cancer and she was starting to undergo treatment. Of course, at the time, we didn't know that. But now she's in remission and she's said to us previously that she's found sanctuary in nature during her treatments. And that was kind of the whole theme of the video, wasn't it? And trying to inspire perhaps young people to get back into nature instead of being glued to these smartphone things.
Yes, I could definitely do with getting back into nature and being less addicted to my smartphone.
Well, wouldn't we all?
I think with Catherine, what's so special about her, and yes, I have for the majority of my career definitely focused on royal fashion. That's my niche, 100%. But what's so special about Catherine is that if you look at her for her fashion, you then start to read more into what she's actually doing. I think the fashion is a bridging step to actually looking at the important work that she's doing and what the message she's trying to send out to the world about getting involved in nature. You know, there's so many causes I wouldn't have any clue about if it wasn't for the Princess of Wales, whether it's early childhood and all the other important things that she pioneers. I think because I'm interested in the fashion, I look at that first, and then it sends me into reading more about what she's actually doing. So I think it's an important thing.
Yeah, and I think the royal family do a lot with imagery rather than statements or words, and I think fashion is probably part of that, right?
Yes, the royal family aren't as liberty as you and I are to express comment or an opinion about what's going on in the world or different things happening in politics, but they can send subtle messages through their clothing. I remember one of my favourite examples when Donald Trump came over for a state visit and he met Queen Elizabeth II. She actually wore a brooch that Barack Obama had gifted her. So it was almost like her saying, you know, I'm not picking sides here. I'm not showing any allegiances. I'm a neutral party in this matter. So I think that all members of the royal family use fashion to send messages, not just Catherine, but I've spotted a few here and there, and I'm one of those crazy people that believes that the royal fashion team sit there and pick everything based on what message that's going to send. I really truly believe that because, you know, she didn't have to wear a brand new Amelia Wickstead jumper, but she did. And that's got loads of people Googling Amelia Wickstead today. And that's going to, you know, increase sales for the high-end designer brand, but in turn that's going to help the British fashion economy. So I think it causes a domino effect. And Catherine's so good at that.
And speaking of other members of the royal family, the other side of the Atlantic, it appears the Princess of Wales has inspired her sister-in-law with her Easter edit. So for those of you who don't know, Meghan has started what's it called? My Shop or something on it. Yeah, which is basically a place to post your fashion ideas that others can then go and buy the brands. And she's got some stuff on there for Princess Lilibet and Prince Archie, some stuff for herself. There was like a champagne saucer there as well, which looks very Soho Housey. Of course, we know Meghan loved Soho House, and that is where she had her first date with Harry. So, I mean, what do you read into the fact that some are speculating that she's, you know, kind of being inspired by or copying the Princess of Wales when it comes to fashion choices?
So I don't think the Duchess of Sussex is necessarily copying the Princess of Wales. I think ever since, you know, there's images of Meghan going back over a decade when she was on suit. She was always a very, very fashionable woman. I think with the Easter edit, there are a few brands that she has uploaded, especially with the children's clothing. I've got a list of them here. Crew Cuts, Boden and Trotters. Those are 3 brands that Princess Charlotte and Prince George and Prince Louis have all worn, especially to the Easter Sunday service, which we're hoping they'll attend this Sunday. Obviously, we don't know. It's not confirmed yet, but we're hoping they will attend. And they probably will be wearing a few of those brands, because those are the brands that a lot of aristocratic British children tend to wear. So, and obviously Archie and Lily are growing up in Montecito. I don't know how many children in Montecito are running around wearing clothing from Trotters, but it was an interesting choice when I saw it. And who knows, maybe Meghan will share some images or some videos on her Instagram this Sunday. Maybe, I don't know if they're a church attending family, or I don't know, but maybe we'll see some images there. But to put the actual clothes on her My Shop page, it implies that they are from her wardrobe, because she wants her fans to buy them, and then she gets a percentage cut of those sales. So yeah, it's an interesting choice, but maybe Meghan just wants people to be reminded that her children are a prince and princess. They are in the line of succession. They are British royalty, even though they have American accents.
Yeah, and we know Meghan's a businesswoman, of course, and that's how she's making money. That's how she's getting commission. Fair enough. She's more than entitled to do that. I remember being given the Boden catalogue as a kid, and my mum would make me circle things that I wanted to wear. But of course, other brands are available as well. But I do feel very happy that I was wearing the same brands as a kid. I know. I was given the Argos catalogue. Other brands are available, of course. But yeah, just thought I'd add that little thing in. I feel very privileged now. Anyway, yes, California and the Duchess of Sussex. I think, to be honest, as you say, Meghan has always been very stylish, and she has always had an eye for what aesthetically looks good. And I think we've seen that play out with, as ever, her brand for, food and drink and jams and all spreads, as they have to be known as, and her Netflix series as well. Whatever she wears, whether it's a luxury high-end designer, probably similar to Princess Catherine in one way, like a luxury high-end designer or just a high street brand as well, she looks very good, doesn't she? She looks like she pulls it off.
Yeah, I think Meghan is one of those people that I think no matter what she wears, she always looks great. I personally love Meghan's fashion. I think, when she came into the royal family, I think there were a set of protocols that she had to follow. She was actually quite open about that during her Netflix series with Prince Harry. She said, I couldn't wear the same colour as another senior royal, and whether that's true or not, that's been dissected a million times. But I think she still wore a lot of amazing outfits. There are times where, social media sleuths will find images and put Catherine and Meghan together and say, she copied her or she copied her. I think they both have very similar body types. They're both of a similar height. They're both the same age. They're both 43. They're both millennials. They both probably had the same interest in fashion. They grew up around the same time. I don't think it's surprising that they had similar fashion contexts as well when they were in the royal family. But yeah, I think Meghan looks great in most of what she wears. Same with Catherine.
I mean, as somebody who knows much more about fashion than I do, Dot, how much do you think Meghan curates that site? In other words, how much help do you think she has with her Easter edit or her, whatever edit she's doing?
Oh, she would definitely have some help. I think she was quite open a few weeks ago. She did an interview where she said, back when I was on Instagram, boomerangs were popular. I think she's been off Instagram quite a few years, that she definitely has a social media team helping her 100%. In terms of having a stylist, she's got a makeup artist, she's got a hairdresser. I would be surprised if she didn't also have someone picking out outfits, especially for red carpet appearances. But she definitely has people helping her, and probably someone that gave her a nudge saying, you should do this, because I don't know if it was Meghan's decision, but a lot of outlets have affiliate links and make money off of the clothes that all members of the royal family wear, not just Meghan, but the Duchess of Edinburgh, Lady Louise Windsor, Catherine, even the children's clothes as well. So yeah, I reckon she does have people. I
mean, it's anyone in the public eye, isn't it? It can very easily sell clothes, especially when you've got social media and people are going to click on it. I mean, I certainly have gone down rabbit holes of seeing an amazing outfit like a suit or something, or mail a man wearing an outfit on Instagram, find out where it's from, or click on the link and then end up spending way too much money on clothes. But, so it does happen, doesn't it? You can see how people get entranced by what Meghan, Duchess of Sussex is wearing, or indeed what the Princess of Wales is wearing.
I 100% agree. And I think it would almost be easier if Meghan did admit that she is an influencer now, because she tried to deny that recently in an interview. And I think you are the definition of an influencer if you're doing this, because if Catherine did this, there would be an uproar because she's a member of the royal family, taxpayer funded, that would just be completely frowned upon in every way, shape or form. But Meghan has the ability to do that, right? Because she's a private citizen.
Yeah, although the Princess of Wales did have to backtrack, didn't she? Because originally we were told, no, she's not going to name the brands which she's wearing. But then there was a bit of a hoo-ha, wasn't there, about, the effect she has on British brands. And then we get this extraordinary statement from her spokesperson basically saying, it was me saying X, to the source quotes for Sunday Times. And we are still going to occasionally give, British fashion details out. So it was a very odd, not full circle, but U-turn, really. It was
a U-turn. I think Catherine is incredibly smart, and she knows the power that she has in the British fashion industry, and not just the British fashion industry, but all over the world, because she wears brands from all across the globe. And I think Kensington Palace eventually realised that, because there was a bit of an uproar, to the original piece in the Times, of people just going, hang on, we actually love what Catherine wears. It's actually a compliment. We actually really want to Google what she's wearing and buy the pieces ourselves and save up and have that heirloom, that £610 jumper, but 10 years time it will still be there, as opposed to buying something fast fashion and it lasts a year, two at most, so I think it was absolutely extraordinary, but I'm quite glad that they U-turned on that decision, selfishly, because I love the royal fashion.
Fair enough. Well, Dot, this has been fun. Thanks for joining me. We'll have to do it again sometime. And if you are watching, why don't you write some questions in the comments for both of us? It can be about royal fashion, or royal events that are coming up, or anything in the royal news, and Dot and I will try and answer some questions in the next video. So, and also remember to like and subscribe as well, so you don't miss a thing. Thank you again, Dot. And this has been Cameron Walker and Dot Reddin for GBN Royal.
Thank you.